Hello students, I am Sanjana Kavatigi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, AITM, Belgavi. Let us continue with the video lectures on computer organization. We shall continue with the module number 1, that is basic structure of computers. In this video, we are continuing with the addressing modes from module number 1. In the last video, we have seen some of the addressing modes. That is, first one is register mode, second one is absolute mode, and then immediate mode. Also we have covered indirection and pointers. The next addressing mode we have is indexing and arrays. Okay, this addressing mode is useful in dealing with list and arrays. Let us see what is index mode. Index mode is it is the effective address of the operand is generated by adding a constant value to the contents of a register. The effective address of the operand is generated by adding a constant to the value of the contents of a register. Let us see. The register used may be either a special register provided for this purpose only, or it may be any one among the general purpose registers that are present in the processor. In both the cases, it is referred to as an index register. We indicate the index mode symbolically as x of ri, okay, into parenthesis ri, okay, where x denotes the constant value retained in the instruction and ri is the name of the register involved. Okay, this register can be any special purpose register or any one of the general purpose registers present in the processor. So how do we represent it? X of ri, where x denotes a constant and r is the name of the register used. Okay, now how do we calculate effective address? Effective address is equal to x plus into square brackets ri. Okay, so x plus the contents of ri. The contents of the index registers are not changed in the process of generating the effective address. Okay, the contents that are present in the ri, okay, or the contents of the register will not be changed in generating the effective address. So in any assembly level language program, the constant x may be given either as an explicit number or as a symbolic name representing a numerical value. It can be a number or a symbolic name which represents that numerical value. Okay, I can directly give some number for the value of x, or I can symbolically represent it. The way in which a symbolic name is associated with a specific numerical value, we'll be studying this in the next section. When the instruction is translated into machine code, the constant x is given as the part of an instruction and is usually represented with fewer bits compared to the length of the word in the computer. Okay, since x is a signed integer. Signed integer means it can be either positive or negative. It must be sign extended. What is the sign extension and all, we will be studying in the later part. Okay, you'll get to know more about it. You can just remember it is a signed integer as of now. The figure illustrates two ways of using this index addressing mode. That is, in the first figure, the index register R1 contains the address of the memory location. Okay, so the contents of R1 is what? It is the address of the memory location, and the value x defines an offset, or we can also call it as displacement from this address to the location where the operand is found. Okay, this x, which is a constant, it is called as offset value, or it also can be called as displacement. Okay, from this address to the location where the operand is found. From this location means to the contents of the register R1, that is nothing but a memory location. For that memory location, I will add some constant value. Say here it is 20. Okay, so what is the contents of R1? It is 1000. Go to memory location 1000 and then add 20 to it, means that address plus 20 will give me 1020. Okay, so the displacement is what? Here it is 20. Okay, I'm moving from 1000 address 1000 to address 1020. Okay, next another alternative way that is given in the second figure, that is figure B. Here X corresponds to a memory address and the contents of the index register defines the offset to the operand. In this case, what is happening? X itself is given as a number, okay, and the contents of the index register defines the offset to the operand. Okay, in the previous example, X was constant and we were taking the address of the register as address, sorry, contents of the register as address. In this case, what is happening? X X is a address and the contents of the register is the offset value. Okay, in both the cases the effective address will be the sum of the two only, which is given, one will be given explicitly in the instruction and the other one is stored in the register. Both will give me the same value. Here also 1000 plus 20, here also 1000 plus 20, both will take me to the same location, that is 1020. As I told, index addressing mode is useful in case of arrays and lists. Let us understand how it is useful. Consider a simple example involving a list of test scores for students taking the given course. Assume that the list of scores beginning at location list, 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 and it is structured as shown in the figure. A 4-word memory block comprises a record that stores relevant information for each student. Each record consists of the student identification number, that is student ID, followed by the scores the student has got in three tests. Okay, so there are n small n students in the class and the value of this n small n is stored in the location capital N immediately in front of the list. The address is given in the figure for the student IDs and test scores. Assume that the memory is byte addressable and word length is of 32 bits, that is 4 bytes. Okay, we should also note here that the list in the figure represents a two-dimensional array having n rows and 4 columns. Okay, each row contains the entries for one student and the columns contain the IDs and test scores. It can be thought of as a two-dimensional array, okay, having n rows, small n number of rows and 4 columns. Okay, each row contains entry for one student and the columns contain the student IDs as well as their test scores. Suppose that we wish to compute the sum of all scores obtained on each of the test and store these sums in memory location sum 1, sum 2 and sum 3 respectively. Okay, so to do this, a possible program for this task is given in the that is in the next slide. Okay, let us see the program. The body of the loop, the program uses a index addressing mode in the manner that was described in the previous figure, that is first figure, to access each of 3 scores of a student in a student record. The register R0 is used as the index register before the loop is entered. Okay, R0 is set to point to the location ID of the first student record, thus it contains the address list. Okay, next on the pass through to the loop through the loop, test scores of the first student are added to the running sums held in register R1, R2 and R3, which initially cleared to 0, means it was initially 0 and we kept on adding the scores of the students, okay, into the registers R1, R2 and R3. These scores are accessed using the index register modes, that is 4 of R0, 8 of R0 and 12 of R0. You can see the location, that is list plus 4, list plus 8, list plus 12. Okay, what will be the value of PC? So that will be, this is how we are going to add the offset. Okay, the index register R0 is then incremented by 16 to point to the location of the second student. Okay, so means since we have 4 records we are maintaining, that is one is student ID and three test scores. Okay, so next directly the list will be incremented by 16 to point to the next, that is R0. I can say R0 is incremented by 16 to point to the next uh, id of the student, or the next student id. Okay. Register R4 is initialized to contain the value n, small n, is decremented by 1 at the end of each pass through the loop. Okay. When the contents of R0 reach to 0, all the student records have been accessed and the loop terminates. So until then, the conditional branch instruction transfers control back to the start of the loop to process the next record. So the last three instructions transfer the accumulated sums for the register R1, R2, R3 into the memory location sum1, sum2 and sum3 respectively. Okay, this is how it works. So it should be emphasized that the contents of the index register are not changed when it is used in the index addressing mode to access the scores. So this is how it is advantageous. The contents of R0 are changed only by the last add instruction in the loop. Okay, to move from one student to the next, one student record to the next student record. Okay, so in general, the index mode facilitates access to an operand whose location is defined in a relative to a reference point within the data structure in which the operands appear. Okay, and if we consider the given example, the ID location of successive student records are the reference points, and the test scores are the operands accessed by the index register mode. Okay, the student IDs can be considered as reference points, and the test scores can be considered as operands that are used by the index addressing mode. Just see the transitions, how it is calculating the effective address here. Now let us understand the next addressing mode, that is relative addressing. We have defined the index mode, that is the previous addressing mode, using general purpose processor register. The useful version of this mode is to it can be obtained if the program counter, that is PC, is used instead of a general purpose register. Then x of into parenthesis PC, this can be used to address a memory location that is x bytes away from the location presently pointed to by the program counter. X of PC means what? This can be used to address a memory location that is x bytes away, that is nothing but, again, x is the displacement here, x bytes away from the location presently pointed to by the program counter, that is from the location where the program counter is pointing to. Since the addressed location is identified relative to the program counter, which always identifies the current execution point in the program, the name relative mode is associated with this type of addressing. So let us understand what is relative mode. The effective address in this case is determined by the index mode using the program counter in place of the general purpose register RI. It is similar to the index mode, only change is what we are using program counter in place of general purpose registers. This mode can also be used to access data operands, but it is mostly used to specify the target address in case of branch instruction. Okay, consider branch instruction, branch greater than 0 loop. Okay, this type of instruction causes the program execution to go to the branch target location identified by the name loop if the branch condition is satisfied. What is the condition here? Branch greater than 0 is the condition. If that condition is satisfied, the program execution or the control of the program will go to the branch target location, which is identified by the name loop. Okay, this location can be computed by specifying it as an offset from the current value of the program counter. I can do this way, or one more way is what, this location I can calculate. How I can calculate this location? That is by providing an offset or displacement from the current value of the PC. Okay, since the branch target may be either before or after the branch instruction, the offset is given as a signed number. Now, as I said, the branch target may be, it can be before the branch instruction, or it may be after the branch instruction. If it is before the branch instruction is means what, I have to deduct some displacement from the current instruction. Okay, if it is after the branch instruction, I have to add some displacement to the branch instruction. So that is nothing but what I'm trying to say is the offset can be assigned number. Okay, if I'm subtracting, I have to give a negative integer. If I'm adding up, I have to give a positive integer. Okay, also recall that during the execution of an instruction, the processor increments the PC, that is program counter, to point to the next instruction. Most of the computers use this updated value in computing the effective address in case of relative mode. For example, consider suppose that the relative mode is used to generate a branch target address loop in the branch instruction of the program that is used previously. You can check the previous program. Okay, assume that the 4 instructions of the loop body which are starting at loop are located in memory location say 1000, 1004, 1008 and 1012. Okay, hence the updated contents of the PC at the time of branch target is generated will be 1016. Okay, so to branch to location loop of 1000, what the displacement I should give from 1000 to 1016? Now it is in 1016. I have to go back to the branch location which is 1000. What offset value I can give? I should give x equal to minus 16. Okay, the program example what I've said is given in figure 2.12 in the textbook. You can go through it. Okay, assembly languages allow branch instruction to be written using labels to denote the branch targets. Okay, that is loop is nothing but the label that is given to the branch target. When the assembler program processes such instructions, it computes the required offset value, that is minus 16 in this case, and generates the corresponding machine instruction using the addressing mode. Now what the instruction will be? It is minus 16 into bracket PC. Okay, subtract this value from the value of PC. Okay, so that is x equal to minus 16 and take the contents of the PC. Just observe this slide to understand the flow, how the offset effective address will be calculated. So far we have discussed 5 basic addressing modes: immediate, register, absolute or direct, indirect and index. That is found in most of the computers. Now many other computers provide additional modes intended to aid the certain programming task. The two modes that we are going to discuss now are useful for accessing data items in successive locations in the memory. Those two modes are auto increment mode and auto decrement mode. Let us see one by one. First we shall see auto increment mode. The effective address of the operand is the contents of a register specified in the instruction. Okay, effective address is of the operand is nothing but the contents of the register specified in the instruction, and after accessing the operand, the contents of this register will be automatically incremented to point to the next item in a list. Okay, that is what is auto increment mode. If I use this mode, what will happen? I will access the register, and after accessing the register, the contents of the register will be automatically incremented to point to the next item in the list. Okay, we denote the auto increment mode by putting the specified register in a parenthesis to show that the contents of a register used as the effective address, followed by a plus sign to indicate that these contents are to be incremented after the operand is accessed. Okay, the auto increment mode is written as into parenthesis ri plus. Okay, so implicitly this increment amount is 1 when the mode is given in this form. Okay, normally you write auto increment and decrement statements, no, same thing it is. In terms of registers we are studying here. So the increment amount or the increment value will be 1 when the mode is given in this form, but in a byte addressable memory this mode would be only useful in accessing successive bytes of some list. Okay, so to access successive words in a byte addressable memory with a 32-bit word length, the increment must be 4 because the word size is 4 bytes. Okay, computers that have a auto increment mode automatically increment the contents of the register by a value that corresponds to the size of the accessed operand. So what I mean to say is the increment is 1 for byte sized operands. it is 2 for 16-bit operands, that is 2 bytes operands, and it is 4 for 32-bit operands, or you can say 4 byte size. Okay, the increment will be 1 for byte size, that is 1 byte operands, 2 for 2 bytes operands, 4 for 4 bytes operands, that is 32-bit operands. Since the size of the operand is usually specified as part of the operation code of an instruction, it is sufficient to indicate the auto increment mode as Ri plus. If you just mention Ri, the same instruction type, into bracket Ri plus, it will automatically take the increment value depending on the size of the operand. The next addressing mode is auto decrement mode. The contents of a register specified in the instruction are first automatically decremented, and then it is used as the effective address of the operand. In case of increment, we are going to access the register first, and then we are going to increment the contents of the register. But in this case, first we are going to decrement the contents of the register, and then we are using that value. It is like post increment and pre decrement. Okay, so this we denote the auto decrement mode by putting the specified register in parenthesis, that is Ri in this case, into parenthesis, preceded by a minus sign to indicate that the contents of the register are to be decremented before being used as the effective address. So we write minus into bracket Ri. In this mode, operands are accessed in descending address order because we are using the pre-decrement here. Okay, you may be wondering why the address is decremented before it is used in auto decrement mode, and it is incremented after it is used in the auto increment mode. The main reason for this is you'll be studying some concept of stacks, data structure stack in this. So there we are going to use this auto increment and auto decrement. There the picture will be more clear to you why we are using auto increment, that is we are incrementing after accessing the contents, and pre decrement, that is first only you decrement and then use the value of that. So this you will be understanding better in that section. So the actions performed by auto increment and auto decrement addressing modes can be obviously achieved by using two instructions, one to access the operand and the other to increment or decrement the register that contains the operand address. So combining the two operations in one instruction reduces the number of instructions needed to perform the desired task. Okay, that is why we are writing it is together in one statement only. Addressing modes are very important from exam point of view. Let us take a quick review, or let us quickly revise all the addressing modes once again. You can see here in this table the name of the addressing mode is given, and we have the assembler syntax and how the addressing function will work. Okay, first mode will take is immediate. How the assembler syntax will be, I can use sharp sign and give the value. Okay, how it will be, how the address of the operand is accessed, it is nothing but operand is equal to value, whatever this value is given, that is nothing but the operand here. Okay, next in register mode, only the register value will be given, that is Ri. Effective address will be nothing but the contents of this register, okay, or the register value itself. Next we have absolute or direct. In this, memory location will be given, effective address will be the address of this memory location. Okay, coming to indirect, here we have two cases. One is with the register, the other one is with the memory location. In both the cases we will be taking the contents of a particular register or that respective memory location. Okay, parenthesis will indicate the address, square bracket will indicate the contents of that particular register or memory location. Okay, so effective address in case of register will be the contents of register use. Effective address in case of memory location will be the contents of memory location. Okay, coming to index mode, it is represented as x into bracket Ri, where the effective address can be calculated as the contents of the register Ri plus the offset or displacement value, where x is the integer, signed integer you can say. Next is base with index. Okay, that is Ri comma Rj. If you take two registers, the effective address can be calculated as into square brackets Ri plus into square brackets Rj. Okay, suppose if you consider base with index and offset, that is capital X of Ri Rj, this can be calculated as the displacement will be added to the contents of both the registers here. Okay, now coming to relative. It is X of PC, same as index addressing. In case of general purpose register, we are using the program counter here, that is PC. So effective address will be PC plus X, contents of PC plus displacement. Last two are auto increment, it is into parenthesis Ri plus the effective address will be equal to Ri initially and then increment the value of Ri. In case of auto decrement, it is represented as minus into parenthesis Ri. So first decrement Ri and then use it as the effective address. Okay. Let us continue this module in the upcoming videos. Keep watching. Thank you.